do a little flying. Oh, yeah. I'm way the fuck out here, dude. Oh my god, already? Alright. Probably shouldn't have departed from an airport so far away from the action, but so it goes. Some missiles flying under me? I see you down there. I see you down there. Oh. Think you slick. Looks like they already got him. FS-20? There's no way I'm going to be able to get you in this thing. I'll keep you guessing, though. Ooh, good shot. Earned that one. God. Where's the bomber? Where's the bomber? Fuck. He's behind me. There he is. Oh. How about it, Barry? Yeah, I've been on a roll with this game. I've been getting better and better. I've felt tangible improvements in my playstyle. And it's been hard to put it down. Oh! Oh! Say that, I'm getting lit up pretty badly. Ah, that's ugly. Holy shit. Wait. I see you. I see you. Think you slick? You think you slick? Where is he? Where'd he go? Where'd he go?
Right engine fire. Left engine fire.
Nope. Nope. Oh, it's a good run. The acrobatics in this game are pretty fun. The maps aren't terribly interesting. They're kind of plain, kind of milquetoast. And to be honest, I'm kind of surprised that there's not really... Ah, fuck you, you bastard. Showing off. I'm kind of surprised there's not more interesting map designs. I don't know if that's a shortcoming of the layout editor that they have available. You know, I'd imagine the community can make more interesting stuff, but needs a 3D modeler and a Blender artist like yourself to make that happen, I suppose. Because I certainly can't do it. Damn. Damn. Our major airports are down. All right. Oh, that's ugly. I'm staying away from there. I can't survive in this aircraft and that kind of nonsense. Let's go. Give some support to the city. God. No, it wasn't just you. Wasn't just you. My power went out. I don't know what the deal was. It blinked off and back on. But I think we're okay now. Let me get this restarted. It's always interesting on this side of the wire. Power's going out, upload speeds getting shaved down to 1%. It's always something. I also think there's some other issue with this PC, which I haven't seen happen in a while, but I think it's got some power delivery issues. Seems like if I set the AMD curve optimizer up like 10 or 15 millivolts, the motherboard is a bit more stable. It's a 5800 XT processor, which I guess is like a binned up version of the 5800X. So maybe they run them a little, maybe AMD runs them a little on the edge of tolerability with respect to voltage ranges. This little voltage seems to help. Let's see. Okay, good. Where was I? I don't think it was this one. Maybe it was. I don't remember. Close enough. They're all the same. Yeah, that was the exact same issue I was talking about with it crashing all the time. If it wasn't the GPU, it was the main board. It's always something. I replaced the power supply and it seemed to help a little bit, but not entirely. So I suspect it's like the voltage regulators on the motherboard or something else. I'm not really sure. Seems like it's better though. I got a new power supply. I turned up the voltage going to all the components that I could, and it seems to have improved. That was the first time it's done it in quite a long time. Well, I guess that was the power going out, but... Let's see. Different source of power going out. That'll be fine. Yeah, the feedback loop of this game is so good. There's really never a dull moment. It's always enjoyable. I mean, even my shit crashing and having to reboot, I can just jump right back in the action. It's really nice. Oh. Now I'm kind of nervous. I'm going to actually put some more voltage on my GPU just to be safe. Can't ever be too careful. Boom. All right. I see you out there. Yeah, you were telling me that a UPS was a good investment. I need to get one. Just having a nice fat battery in between my mains electricity and the machine would be so nice. Oh, you son of a bitch. Took my kill. Oh, well, I guess I got part of it. I knew that Discord had profiles, like if you click on people's names, but I didn't realize you could actually fill stuff in on your Discord profile, and I clicked on yours and saw some more info. Software developer, Arch Linux enjoyer, and so on. The first time I noticed all that. Always a fan of fellow Arch using brethren. Although, I'm worried that the Arch, the AUR, the user repository is going to be facing some headwinds in the near future. It seems like there's been some changes with inheritance practices for abandoned projects because malware developers and AI-fueled slopware are introducing a lot of vulnerabilities into it, which, you know, if that keeps happening, that's going to be the death of one of the better parts of the Arch ecosystem, which is unfortunate. Electricity spikes and dips. You know, without reading the voltage coming into my PC, changes in the voltage from my mains electricity might have had more to do with my GPU failures than I realized. Oh my god. Oh man, come on. I think he's going after him. Oh, oh god. I'm going after him too. I'm gonna try to gun him. Oh, somebody. Yeah, it's only gonna get worse. We had a good run for a while, didn't we? But now that everybody knows how good it is, there's gonna be malware coming out every which way. And the AUR is such a juicy, soft target. You can just throw anything up there from an abandoned project or just make a new one. And you get immediate exposure to hundreds of thousands of machines. I'm kind of surprised it went as long as it did without major issues, to be honest. Oh god. You know what? Let me not do that. Yeah, they're gonna have to come out with a new ownership and verification mechanism for it. But I agree, if they work something out that's a nice mix of accountability and verifiability, maybe. I guess NixOS is more designed for reproducible builds than Arch is, but not that that would solve like the malware distribution problem with that kind of framework that Arch uses. But yeah, if they solve all that stuff, I think it's going to come out better for it at the end. Especially with support from Valve. Having big players in the space like that is going to do a lot to incentivize additional care and robustness, I think.
Raise gear.
Whoops. Get him. Get him. Do you have flares? You sure don't, do you? What? How did that miss? You son of a bitch. Oh god. Oh god.
Stall.
Oh, I know. Oh, come on, hit it. Hit it. Get your parachute. Somebody's capturing this base for us. Let's give him a nice little flyby. Wait. Somebody's coming for him. Where? There you are. Oh no, I'm out of I'm out of flares.
Right stall.
Oof. Well. Nice. Just in time. Okay, let's get ourselves do what I do best. I really like flying jets, but I'm just better at using a helicopter and covering ground units. And these multiplayer maps, it seems like I should help the team more than just do what's fun. Let's go. Oh, they're gonna bring Rad V to Windows? Interesting. I actually don't know what part of the stack the Vulkan driver is in with respect to the OS and the user land part of the software, so I wasn't sure if the Vulkan component like that could be ported over to Windows in any reasonable way. But that'd be great if they did, because I mean, if I'm not mistaken, it's functionally better than even AMD's own Vulkan driver. At least it has been on Linux in most respects. It's really good. I think I also use Rad V when I run inference for my language models on my little dinky card too. It's not as fast as what's their ROCm, I guess, ROCm, but it's like 90% as efficient, or not efficient, but capable. It's got a 90% the throughput, which for just a Radeon driver is really good. Valve's gonna be the savior of the x64 platform, man. They're doing God's work. Where are you? You're way out there. I see you. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh, somebody nailed him. Poke my head up here. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy. Somebody's on your ass. Valve's making all the right moves. Got another one. Hopefully this RAM crunch ends pretty soon, but I'm not convinced it's going to. There's a part of me that's a little concerned that RAM prices might not ever actually go back down. That the price floor has just been raised until either some new technology is invented, new foundries come online, or there's a different or cheaper way to inference language model intelligence. But remains to be seen, I suppose. I see ya. I see ya. You aren't ready for this helicopter with a missile, are you? Come on. Come on. Line up. Nope, other way. Alright, well. Oh, shit. Get his ass. Make him work for it. Alright, landing gear, we're down this whole time. Whoop! Whoop! Careful! Careful! Okay. That rocket has no steering, doesn't it? Yeah, I've been interested in seeing how much more talk about Graphene OS there is these days. That used to be, you know, weirdo shit. Even people that flashed custom Android ROMs back in the day didn't commonly flash Graphene, but now it's becoming commonplace talk among even very minimally security-minded people. I mean, Google's been acting so heavy-handed with Android, though, in the way they're restricting ADB sideloading in the name of security and all this stuff. Things that they've been doing with Manifest, I guess version 3 and Chrome. Another part of the reason that I use Firefox, because I don't trust Google to make proper decisions with respect to that kind of thing. And I'm glad that trust was properly misplaced, turns out. Come on. Come on. See you up there. No way. No way. No way. Shit. Not much I can do about that.
Right engine failure.
Almost.
Main
Damn.
rotor down.
What a waste. Yeah, they're going the way of iOS. I agree. It's really disappointing. Because iOS has so effectively captured the walled garden market for a consolidated hardware, software, mobile ecosystem that Android, in my opinion, their only real competitive advantage was their openness. And Google seems to have decided that they've got a larger, more financially viable market by going the Apple direction in spite of already having stiff competition from Apple, than leaning into the openness like companies like Valve are doing, which is fucking disappointing, man. It's really, really sad. It seems like general purpose compute and freely available computation on hardware that we own is becoming an antiquated concept. And I'm starting to worry that we're going to have to, as taxpayers, invest in hardware and software production for citizenry that won't be corporate controlled, just so we can ensure that, I mean, much like my beliefs with firearms and with language model availability, that we'll have computational hardware available to us without corporate restrictions. I mean, granted, that doesn't do much about governmental restrictions, which will always try to rear their head given enough time and electoral difficulty. But there needs to be some kind of system of safeguards in place that you can get hardware to do computing in the hands of individuals and have that hardware unrestricted as far as what software it will run, given that instruction set. It kind of shocks me that we've gone this far into the development of the modern computer without such guarantees. We've really relied on the good faith of companies to make sure our computing hardware is open, and that given seems to be less and less secure as time goes on. I think in my lifetime we're going to see most of that stuff restricted in the name of safety or security, which is very, very sad. I'll take a gunship. Yeah, I'm very apprehensive of using Chinese technological hardware as an American just for geopolitical reasons. I mean, I've studied enough geopolicy to know that as an American, it's probably an ill-advised decision. But yeah, there are certain cases where a damage that they could do is minimal, especially with just pure software things like language models. Slightly less true in my opinion for phones, but in those cases, if the damage they could do is minimal, then I agree. They can have my money. Especially when my own companies are not being good faith actors. But like, I never used TikTok for the same reason. That I was very apprehensive to use a Chinese software platform that has that many fingers and the sensors of your phone at all times. I was never willing to use it. But I don't use Facebook either for that matter, so. Is YouTube much better? Probably not, but I also don't have it on my phone. Phones are just... phones sketch me out, man. They can reveal so much about you just based on inferring over large amounts of data sets over time that I just... The security trade-off and the implications for security and freedom for a given populace, it didn't seem like it was worth it in my opinion. But I recognize that I'm probably on the extreme end of those beliefs. Social media it can do a lot of good, but boy, it's done a lot of bad. I think the degradation of the individual, people losing their focus, test scores in most countries across the world going down, people seeming to get stupider. I think most of that is due to easily accessible social media on smartphones. That's my hypothesis. And I don't think that's a controversial hypothesis, but without hard evidence, we just have to make the best decisions we can. And that's... oh, fuck. Who's shooting at me? It's you, you son of a bitch. Oh, I fucked that up. I fucked that up. I was trying to write like a 20 or 30 minute YouTube video about this game, like a little review. What makes it good, what makes it interesting. I just didn't feel it though. I didn't feel the spirit. This is one of those games that feels self-evidently good, and trying to itemize exactly why I like it I found to be more difficult than I would have expected. Whoop! Gunship deployed. Yeah, cell phones are perfect spy devices. Intelligence services 40, 50 years ago couldn't even dream of how much information people just willingly give away these days. And a lot of people think about personal information like that only in the context of an individual being spied on. What do I have to hide? I'm not doing anything bad. Why would government services be interested in me? You know? And that's fair, but I think a lot of times those types of opinions don't take into account that when you have that kind of view into an individual's behavior aggregated over tens or hundreds of millions of people, you can use that to very aggressively shape geopolicy towards your friends and enemies alike. I have no doubt that mass data aggregation has single-handedly changed a lot of the diplomatic decisions some of our countries have made thanks to some of these data streams, and that's just not a machine I want to feed into. That's my suspicion anyway, certainly can't prove it, but tell you what, if all that data was out there and I was the leader of a country, you bet your ass I'd be using it. It's free real estate. Who wouldn't? There you are. Uh-huh. Dude!
Stall.
Okay. Once again. I'm gonna try some kingpins. Come on. Hell yeah. Oh, wrong button. Oh my god. That was almost catastrophe. lost soul. Yeah, I'm deeply, I don't want to say disappointed, because I think with respect to economic markets, those kinds of things are emergent, and aside from geopolitical shaping of marketplaces, there's really not much you can do to mandate successes or failures of individual companies. But I'll say that I'm dispirited seeing so much of my country's economy being wedded to these massive tech conglomerates, because I don't think they're net positives for humanity on the whole. They've had decades to become them, and the advent of mobile computing and social media seems to have, on the whole, made people kind of worse. Conflicts have gotten a little bit more intense. People's attitudes, at least around here, have gotten a lot more caustic, a lot more harsh. People are quicker to judge. Most people live in a bubble that only exists 5 foot in front of them these days. It's affected how people think, how people drive. There's a few benefits, like the rapidity with which information can move through a space. People can communicate faster, but there's also other ways to increase the speed of communication, and it would be nice if we found better ways to do it than corporate social media. There's not many companies in the US that I would like to see just fail on their own merits for the products they make, but I wouldn't be upset if things like YouTube even, or Facebook or Instagram or what have you, just evaporated overnight. I think the human organism would probably be a little better off, all things considered. Ammo. 11 kilometers versus 8. That's a big boy rocket. All right, maybe. Fingers crossed. Damn! Didn't do anything. Didn't do a damn thing. Nice. Yeah, I saw the EU also had some AI restrictions in the same vein of consumer protections as GDPR take effect a couple of days ago for the first time, I think. It's definitely too big of a market for a lot of these companies to be willing to lose, and they'll piss and moan and complain, but when push comes to shove, if a collective body like the EU mandates things like USB-C interoperability, they'll do it, even a company like Apple. And Apple's, God, they're so wealthy, they're more powerful than most countries, which is horrifying. But I guess that's the consequence of the American machine, is that our capital structures can build some incredibly powerful companies, often to the detriment of the consumer base in which they operate. Whoop! Slick! I guess guess this mission doesn't auto restart. I'll make one. Why not? I'll bait people by calling a YouTube live stream. People love to be famous. They'll see that, they'll go, oh, let's do that. This is a good mission. Let's start with some ground defense. Oop. Careful. Somebody already crashed. Yeah, that is the good thing about the EU being such a big market, is that when they have to apply certain rules like that to get access to the market, they just apply it everywhere because it ends up being cheaper to do that globally versus making specific rule sets for such a big market like that, and it benefits all of us in the long run. Although a lot of times they don't do it in the US, they'll still resist it here. I guess because the average American consumer, for their business model, is worth so much that it outweighs even applying the same rules to us, which blessing and a curse, unfortunately. Another big reason that I'm not a big user of social media is because these companies have proven time and again they don't have my best interests in mind. Wow, he's lasing the shit out of those. Holy shit. Far away these work. Nice. Nice. Wow, that worked out really well. Are they? Damn it! What a bastard! Oh my god, I suck. There we go. So much damage. Oh, careful. Oh, God. Yeah, it does seem like there's a very real negative consequence of regulations like the GDPR, and that they stifle a lot of technological investment and deployment, both nationally within the EU structure, as well as internationally. Certainly you can't prove that that's entirely due to onerous regulations. Such things would be very difficult to prove, but it does seem like the EU market, despite having the same technological chops as the United States and China, is constantly stymied and behind the curve with how fast tech gets developed over there and how quickly it gets widespread. Although you could make an argument that a lot of the tech you don't want widespread, like, you know, heavy-handed social media, which is a good thing. But it seems like a lot of your tech companies, like SAP Software, is the biggest one that I'm familiar with, are very old companies that don't do a lot of nimble, innovative work. And it seems like that, at least from my perspective, is part of the negative side of protecting consumers, is that it necessarily reduces the size of your economic input. And you kind of have to like strike that balance where it benefits. That certainly isn't to say that you've struck a bad balance as a member of the EU. But just that it's notably different than the route that we've taken. We certainly got our own baggage with the way we've chosen to go. Yeah, we'll go that way. What? Just give it to me. Yeah, if nobody's gonna join this map, I'm not gonna last very long, I don't think. These enemy fighters come in so fast. Go ahead and get these long-range missiles. Nope, 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 mistake! Oh my god! I thought you were gonna turn better than that. Come on, come on. There it is.
Stall. Stall.
Careful. I see you. I see you. You son of a... Ah!
Stall. Stall.
Yeah, you certainly seem to trust your governmental structures way more than we do as Americans. Maybe they've given you good reason to, because ours certainly have not. It's also ingrained in our culture. I've said it before plenty of times, but I will say it again. We just don't like it. Causes a lot of problems for both us, our allies, our enemies, and our own people. But not much we can do about it, I guess. We've been this way since the Old West, since we even founded this place, to be perfectly honest. Okay, I'm landing. This is not the appropriate aircraft for this. Oh, beautiful. Come on. Nope, nope, nope. Oh god. Oh god. Nope, nope, nope. Well. Yeah, I imagine it must be incredibly difficult to be ASML at this point. They probably suffer more espionage attacks than any other company on the face of the earth from everybody. Friends, foes, allies, people in the Netherlands, people outside the Netherlands. I mean, that's got to be an I mean, imagine running network security for them. Jesus Christ. They won't have to worry too much for much longer, I don't think, though. A lot of other companies, particularly in China, are going to develop their own forms of photolithography at sufficiently shrunk node sizes, and they're, I don't want to say they're going to be undesirable, but there won't be so much pressure to exfiltrate their technology as there used to be. I saw some leaked documents from DeepSeek about their expansion plans, you know, leaked. Who knows how legitimate that is? Probably was a controlled release. But they still seem to be compute starved. That these lithography companies, both native and overseas in China, can't make chips fast enough to meet the demand. Even with the overexpansion of AI data centers across the world, as has happened, it's still not enough. Too close. Fuck. Oh! This is bad. This is bad. This is bad. Get up in the air. Come on. Someone get him off me. Thank you. Oh, we're holding out okay.
Raise gear.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, dude. Come on. Look at all those missiles. Holy shit. I'm fucked.
Left stall fire.
Yeah, Jensen was saying the same thing, that there's certainly understandable reasons that Americans might want to restrict the exportation of high-powered compute from NVIDIA, finished GPUs to be used in data centers, you know, but that if you do that, it comes with the consequence of not only incentivizing the people you're restricting, i.e. China, into making their own chips and compute stacks, but it also removes your ability to have your fingers in the software side of things if they do deploy your chips, which is probably the route we're going to be going, unfortunately. I mean, you're not going to stop China from developing the same kind of compute capacity that the United States does in the medium term to long term, I don't think. Certainly not with export controls. So then the question becomes, how much are you going to try to ingratiate yourself into their compute stack? If they're not gonna, if you're gonna not be able to stop them from doing it as a geopolitical opponent, then how much of it will they let you control? And they seem to have been, I don't know. On the one hand, I want to say they seem to have been quite willing to buy NVIDIA GPUs until we started initiating export controls. But even then, right around that same time, the CPC was very clear about ceasing their companies on the mainland from using NVIDIA chips where possible. So I think we both kind of, from different directions, decided on the same thing. They're more forward-thinking than my government is in that regard. And I think for their own interest, they probably made the right decision. Just step away from... I mean, if I was the CPC, I wouldn't even trust any part of the NVIDIA stack. I wouldn't trust the hardware. I wouldn't trust the software. I wouldn't trust developers that might work for NVIDIA that get sent over to China to share technology. Nope. I know how that goes. The sooner they can disconnect themselves from it, better for them, that is. Let's see. Our geopolitical goals at this point are too diametrically opposed to warrant taking that kind of risk. Same reason that, you know, I wouldn't drive a Chinese car. At least not one that was internet connected. Absolutely not. Now, if an American company or an Overwatch group of some kind can ensure me the data collection, hygiene, and practices, and give me some kind of verifiability about where that data was going and being managed, my opinion would change. But American technological governance infrastructure is not that effective yet. We don't have things like the GDPR, much less any actual committees or agencies that actively investigate the data hygiene of imported technological products. I mean, that much is evident from how many routers people import and sell in the US that have hard-coded credentials baked into them that are so patently exploitable you can't even tell if it's just bad, careless design or a nation-state actor. You know what I mean? So, like, at that point, if we're not willing to do that and my country's not able to protect me, then I can't run the risk of running another country's software. I have to look out for myself. Fuck!
Left engine failure.
For fuck's sake, dude!
Right engine failure. Main rotor down.
Nope, they're in the city. Okay, fuck this. Fuck that. Garbage! Let's try one with people in it. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Oh my God. Come on now. It's right there. It's open. I can see it. Thank you. Let's get it. Yeah, I mean, you can call it BS geopolitics, but I think it would behoove a lot of us Westerners to recognize that companies in China are not like companies in Europe or companies in America. The relationship that companies in China have with the government is very different than the way that it is here. And if the CPC needs a company to develop or deploy certain kinds of technologies to benefit the aims of the CPC, the companies don't have a say in the matter. That's just going to happen. Cut and dry. And it means that we as Westerners have to know that going into it and work with them with that knowledge at the forefront of our relationships and purchasing orders. Which is to say, would I want Huawei 5G cell towers all over my nation when my nation and China are pissing and moaning about Taiwan's right to self-determination? No. No, I wouldn't. I don't care how fast the technology is. The incentive structure is not there for me to trust Huawei to be an impartial actor, because they can't be, because the government under which they operate won't let them be. And so I think it's a good thing that at least my country recognizes that and is starting to pull out Huawei infrastructure. Same reason we don't sell Huawei phones over here. You know, it sucks and it puts us behind, but, you know, part of the reason that a lot of Chinese industry, I think, has gotten so good, ignoring all the IP exfiltration and rapid deployment of these industries over the past 20 years, is not because solely they're the world's leading high technologists, even though they are, but it's also because it serves a very, very needed geopolitical purpose for their government. It's very beneficial for them to subsidize the development and deployment of technologies in multiple different industries and get them into soft targets or soft target geopolicy nations, where rather than actually going to war with these places or saber rattling, you can just put your fingers into their infrastructure in the same way that Nvidia was trying to do in China and got shut out. And that's why China shut them out, because they know that game. It's exactly the same thing they do, and they were wise to prevent us from doing it. But that also opens the door for me to have the same level of criticality. In the same way they don't want Nvidia infrastructure over there, I don't want Huawei infrastructure over here. Certainly not to the extent that we're still, like, opposed geopolitically. It's just the incentive structure isn't there. It would not benefit us. God forbid we ever actually came to kinetic warfare. You would find most of our telecoms infrastructure compromised immediately. And it would just be a massive I told you so moment that I, as an American, don't want to have to live through. We're doing a lot of stupid shit, but we're smart enough to not let that happen. Thankfully. I worry a little bit with Europe about that, because they're going to get really great preferential treatment from China in the short term, and you're going to have to be real careful with how much infrastructure you let them build into, because you give them an inch and they start making decisions you don't like, and you're going to have no breathing room to resist it. At least up to the point that it comes at the expense of your infrastructure. You have to develop that stuff in-house, you know. You can't play with your security like that, in my opinion. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I definitely understand that. It would be nice if those things worked the way they did, but they don't. That's been the hardest thing for me to accept, is that the way that market forces work, that geopolicy works, that warring governments work, we have to dispel these notions of pie in the sky, everyone's happy ideologies immediately, because such things don't exist. They don't exist anywhere beyond idealism, and we can write fantastical worlds reflecting them that we might want to live in, but that isn't this world. I think ultimately, like, what's going to happen with Taiwan is that China is going to build itself into the supply lines of so many modern Western nations that eventually they're not going to need to even declare a hot conflict, and they're just going to point at all of us and be like, we're going to go into Taiwan and ingratiate them back into the Chinese mainland political structure, and you're not going to do anything about that, are you? And we're all going to be like, nope, we don't want to lose our buses, our cars. Oh shit, we don't want to lose our telecoms infrastructure, and you seem to be indicating that if we resisted you, you would give us some issues. So no, we're not going to say anything. And the only reason they'd be able to do that is because we sold out our tech industries years in advance. But that means we have to be robust enough to build our own, which it doesn't seem like Europe is doing. It seems like America is less and less good at that as time goes on. I mean, a lot of us over here saw the cost of outsourcing even our tool and die industry and steel production and all that stuff to China years ago. We warned about this. We knew what was going to happen. We knew that it was going to come at the expense of blue-collar, middle-class workers, and we knew that our corporate ownership class was going to get higher quarterly profits at the expense of not only average everyday Americans, but the very security infrastructure that enables us to be a strong and self-defended nation. And we let it go. We let it go for an extra 10 percentage points every quarter for nothing. You know, but that's the flip side of a non-state commanded market system, right? Is that, unfortunately, I believe that the government can't tell companies what to do, or shouldn't. And unfortunately, that means when these private companies want to sell out your country, they can do it. And it's making me have a lot of second guesses about exactly how free some of these companies should be when they get this big. Seems like China, in some sense, has the right idea that once a company gets large enough to exert geopolitical influence, the government under which it operates needs to exercise a proportionate amount of increased control over their activities. Let's see. I would like for that not to be the case, but they've not proven themselves to be impartial actors. Certainly not sufficiently nationalist actors. I need my companies here in America to be a little bit more hoorah American rather than hoorah money. They've so far proven themselves unwilling. Tom Clancy. Oh shit! Oh shit! Don't hit him! Oh god! I almost ran slap into you. Oh yeah. What is up there? Oh no.
Stall.
You'd rather they be hoorah employees' rights? Yeah, keep hoping. Keep hoping. Oh my god. God, this is bad. This is bad. Oh! Oh! I can't dodge it. I can't dodge it. Come on. Come on. Oh. Okay. I gotta get away from here. Oh, Jesus Christ. How did I survive that? That's nuts. Fuck. At the base.
Engine fire.
Oh, shit. Shit.
Stall.
Nope. It was a good run. Got a ditch. Yeah, there's work-life balance in the United States if you know where to look, but I mean, it's in general, not really. No, in general, you're expected to work 40 hours a week, never be sick, and God help you if you have a child. I don't know how you're supposed to get time off to raise the child in any functional way. It's very, very pathetic, if you ask me. But that's also from corporate companies, and you certainly have opportunities in smaller businesses or starting your own business to live and work exactly how you see fit, so long as you can find a market fit to make your own money and meet your own needs without finding a corporate employer. That used to be a lot easier than it is nowadays, with the economy having tightened up quite a bit over the past 20 years. Being an entrepreneur, making your own company, setting your own hours is disproportionately more difficult than it used to be. And to do that, you're going to have to take a lot of concessions, probably work in industries you don't want to work in, do things you may not want to do, but you do it because the money is there and the demand is there, and then you decide to trade off a 4-year degree in school and I don't say throwing your life away, but investing all of your self-development into a corporate ladder climbing endeavor, rather than taking the easy route of making your own way. It just depends on what kind of person you want to be. But that isn't to say that it's in any way competitive to the work-life balance that you likely have in the EU. Most of those member states live much more comfortable, better lives on the whole than we do here. Food's better, stress levels are lower, less to worry about. Your government doesn't seem to be as much of a piece of shit as ours is. So you can trust them more, they help you more. Yeah, completely alien here. We don't have healthcare, but we have 11 aircraft carriers, so that's cool. Very cool. That's not true. We actually have a shit ton of healthcare to the tune of trillions of dollars, but it goes to very old people, not the people, arguably, that would benefit from it the most. Let's see. Our federal expenditures are completely fucked. It's a shame. We could do so well, and we don't. What's that sound? I'm making weird sounds back there. But we've got a whole bunch of aircraft carriers, so that's cool, I guess. Love to see those deployed to the Middle East, where they'll shoot a bunch of missiles at Iran for fucking nothing for 6 months, only to make us run home with our tail tucked between our goddamn legs. What a fucking disgrace. Excuse me. Pathetic. So many of us saw this coming from a mile away. It'd be pathetic if it wasn't so sad. They're trying to tell a fucking toddler, don't put your hand on that hot stove. It's gonna burn the shit out of you and you're just gonna be pissy and moany about it. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's not that hot. Okay, whatever. Oh, it burned my hand. Yeah, no shit. No shit. Do you know how big Iran is? Do you know how many proxies they have all across the world? Do you know how many thoroughfares of oil transport that they can lean down on? And yeah, no, you didn't think about any of that, did you? Sorry. Sorry. Fuck. Get him! Oh, for fuck's sake, dude. Bitch! Okay. Cut him off at the pass. Yeah, it's kind of sad that most of the people in my country that are running defense policy they have to be instructed like toddlers touching a hot stove. They don't seem to understand cause and effect. They don't understand proportionality. They don't understand economies and the size of them. They don't understand alliances and allegiances and allies and enemies. They don't understand any of that stuff. They seem to think that everything's just a game of Risk where you can move units around and knock pieces over because they all follow certain rules. And that's not the way conflict works, man. It doesn't matter how many aircraft carriers you have if you can't deploy them effectively and like maintain the pressure is necessary to enact a regime change. It's all for naught. But you can't tell my government that shit. They don't understand. They think just because they have command of the biggest economy in the world, they can make everyone do what they want. It's not how that works. If anything, it's gonna backfire. Which it is. How that works, guys. Tried to tell you. Where is he? Where is he? What? What? Oh my god. Let's see. Let's see. See you. I see ya. Oh shit. for it. Oh, somebody nailed him. Oh, shit. Oh, God. That's a little close for comfort. Yeah, that time had a low power condition. Seems like the CPU ran out of juice. Even though I've got a new power supply. I think this main board is failing. First time I've seen that error in quite a while. But, not resolved yet. It's gotta be the main board. Sucks that computer components are $1 million. This is like the abject worst time to be in the market for computer components. Let me get everything brought back up. Bam! There we go. Oh, someone took my spot! Oh well. Any dropouts? Nope. I don't think it'll kick me out if the build numbers don't match. Holy shit. Yeah, it's disgusting how expensive computer components are. I really don't think RAM is ever going to get any cheaper. Not, if not ever, maybe within the next 5 to 10 years. I think the price floor that we see now is basically set. And barring some cheaper way to run AI inference, I don't think it's going to change. I think it's the same thing that happened with cryptos and GPUs that we talked about, where once you can mine cryptocurrency that people were willing to buy using GPUs, the GPUs are just going to get more expensive. There's more people in the market competing for them. It's just price action at work. There's not much you can really do about it. Neither consumers nor producers, unless you bring on new foundries, but then you're talking tens or hundreds of billions of dollars of investment that, even assuming they're willing to do it, that also has to be recouped, which is going to impact the price upwards, right? So it's just, I think RAM prices are just going to be elevated. It's the one thing that sucks about joining these big maps halfway through is that the games are basically over already. Let's see. There we go. I mean, I wouldn't open a new RAM foundry if I was one of these companies either. Certainly not with how tenuous the market's being. That's massive risk. And why would I put that risk forward if the products that I sell just went up in price 400%? You know, I'm making plenty of revenue as it is. Have you seen some of the shit that's happening in South Korea? Like their financial markets? They've started to introduce some of the same financial instruments that we have in the United States, which are like levered, margined ETFs that you can trade that hold SK Hynix and Samsung, and because of that, you can trade an instrument that swings 3 or 4 times as hard as the actual stock does, which means when you win big, but when you lose your life savings. And there's a lot of people over there, apparently, if the news reports are to be believed, have committed suicide because of how much money they've lost on down market days. There's right now in front of the South Korea National Assembly building, there are people who are laying wreaths with flowers, and in Korean, they have ticker tape on them that says, please ban these levered ETF instruments, because those companies in Korea have gotten so rich off of the surge in interest in RAM purchases that it's made the financial markets that issue capital and credit and surround these infrastructured companies get that much more volatile, and it's affecting the day-to-day life of Koreans that partake in these systems. Second and third order effects of the AI boom, things that you can't see coming until they happen. Fascinating stuff. It's awful. It would behoove them to do what Americans didn't do and ban some of these margined instruments. Like, I'm a markets guy. I believe in capital, and I believe in market efficient allocation of capital. And even I accept that there's certain types of levered financial instruments that are just, they do more harm than good if you allow them out. And I don't want to say that a government knows better than its people, but something about the human brain with certain drugs and with certain gambling opportunities, it just short circuits behavior patterns. I don't know. It's causing a lot of damage over there, that's for sure. Let's see. Oh, reconnect my controller. I don't know, people talk about AI bubble bursting, but that doesn't seem sufficiently informative to me to be like an actual prediction. Like, what does the bubble bursting mean? With respect to the United States, does that mean like the US S&P drops 5%, 10%, 20%, 40%? You know, does it have to be compared to the 2008 financial crisis? Does it mean that just the tech companies withdraw in valuation? And if so, how much? I don't think any of that's going to happen. I think that these things are going to retract in valuation, but I don't think there's going to be a crash. I think there's going to be a hard downward retracement as valuations get stabilized. But the fact of the matter is, unlike in 2008, when a bubble did burst, 2008 wasn't producing products that were useful to the extent that they didn't exist beforehand. AI is, unfortunately, very useful for a narrow range of problems, and companies are struggling to find where it's actually effective, and they haven't seemed to fully solve that problem yet. But I, for no minute, will believe that it's not a useful technology. I've seen its usefulness firsthand, and that usefulness isn't going to go anywhere. So I don't think a full correction is going to happen. A full crash. A correction, yes, but a crash, no. Not at all. If anything, the thing that's going to cause a correction in the United States is the heavy-handed AI data center build-out. There's a lot of credit that's on the line that these companies are hoping to recoup on within the next 5 or 10 years, and if they get called on that credit without revenue streams, that's going to be a problem. I suppose that could drag the entire US economy down, but I don't know. Once that infrastructure is built out, if that compute's available, I mean, they could just sell off all that compute hardware back into a starving market that's thirsting for RAM, that's thirsting for GPUs. It's not like the stuff is completely undesirable, it just needs to be put somewhere else. And that's revenue streams, which would offset a potential crash. So yeah, I don't think a bubble is going to pop. It's going to stabilize pretty rough, but I don't see a bubble popping. Oh god. Oh god. Could be wrong though. I mean, don't listen to me. I'm not a financial advisor. Oh god. Come on. Did I get one? Fuck yeah, dude! Got an Ifrit. I'll take that all day. My camera overlay is blocking the missile distance indicator. I have no idea what that means. Sounds suboptimal. But these are the settings the game came with, so I'm just running what the developers thought were good enough. I'm not super hardcore about this game. Usually I like to dive into the settings and play around, but there's so much information you've got to deal with when playing this that I haven't thought to mess around with the settings that much. Hello, guys. Is this an airport? Yes. Yes, it is. I think. General aviation.
Raise gear.
No. I shall not raise my gear. I shall not raise my gear. Oh! Oh! Stuck the landing. Made it home at one piece. Oh, my face cam? Oh, well, that sucks. I don't know where else to put it. Let me see. Nope, that's it. Bam! How about that? How about that? Yeah. Hopefully you can see it there. If it's not good enough, just let me know. I'll try to move it again. Let's see. Whoop, careful. 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 Yeah, that's what I did with GPUs for a little while. I think back in 2016, or I think it was mid to early 2017 before most of the broader populace caught on to mining Ethereum and all that. I bought 3 1080s and mined for like 3 months. Didn't make a whole lot of money, but it was pretty fun. It was a new technology. It was fun to experiment with. I mostly mined altcoins and traded them and sold them pretty quickly afterwards, because at the time it was not clear if this was like a fly-by-night, you know, soon to burn out weird subculture. I had another friend who did the same with 2 GPUs and traded it for Bitcoin and held, which is what I should have done. But he had more foresight than I did. Yeah, and I did the same thing as you. I cleaned up the GPUs, sold them, tested them beforehand. They ran fine. Was very honest about having ran them for 3 or 4 months solid. But I kept them undervolted and cooled off when I was running them, and they didn't have any issues. Seems like it was the people that ran them way too hard that had a lot of preemptive failures. But if you're gentle with your GPUs, they'll be gentle back. There was an export block of Intel CPUs in the 90s. I did not know that. I know that we had cryptographic bans, like we banned PGP and stuff like that, but I didn't realize that there was a hardware restriction in the 90s. That's pretty interesting. I'll have to read more about that. I wouldn't be surprised, though. The US government's been a little knee-jerk with respect to being protectionist about their hardware and software high-tech exports, and I think history's proven that it's not really an effective means of slowing down your opponents, certainly not in a globalized marketplace, and yet we still seem to do it. I don't know why. It doesn't really work. Oh! I see you. I see you. I see you. Oh, nailed him. It took too many missiles, but that's okay. Bagged me an Ifrit. That's all that matters. Wait. I see another enemy. You. No. Oh, he's gone. Oh, yeah, I see the distance indicator now. I don't even think I ever noticed that, honestly. I just get scared at the sound and move as quickly as I can. Let me get away from here. This is gonna be bad. I'm in a bad spot. My wing is screwed. Yeah, I remember watching some Gamers Nexus stuff on EVGA, and if I remember correctly, they said they got out of the GPU industry because of onerous, heavy-handed NVIDIA restrictions. NVIDIA was just too difficult of a board partner to do business with. If I recall correctly. I don't know how accurate that is. I can't say that I have a preferred Taiwanese or Chinese assembler of silicon. I think this board is a gigabyte, which is, you know, not terrible. I mean, actually it's been crashing a whole lot, so maybe it is actually kind of terrible. But short of that, it's been okay for about 3 or 4 years. I like AMD chips. I like Hynix RAM when I can get it. As far as boards go, I've always been partial to Asus. But a lot of these board manufacturers are also doing this weird stuff with like BIOS level settings to force the installation of driver packages within Windows, which I really don't like. But it seems like all these board manufacturers are doing that shit nowadays. Back in my day, we didn't have none of that. I need to find a place to land. Okay. So if I know where those missile indicators are now, then I can move that right there. Beautiful. Let's see if we can make it back to base. Oh, for fuck's sake! Oof, you can hear him get near you. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I don't think a crash is going to happen, but if it does, I will be the first in line for some of these juicy, juicy data center components that are going to end up on the market. Let me tell you, boy howdy. I'll take me some ECC RAM and GPUs without display outputs any day of the week. That's part of the reason I don't think a crash outright is going to happen, because even assuming it did crash, there would be so many consumers like me that would buy these cards for their own PCs and local AI that if I'm incentivized to buy this stuff, I can't imagine these companies building these data centers are going to be incentivized to sell it either. But then it's a question of scale, right? Like maybe it's desirable, but did they build too much? It's certainly possible that they are. They're building a shocking amount of data centers. Frightening amount. We'll see if they can carve up enough revenue to make it worth it. I don't know where the runway is.
Raise gear.
No. What are you, crazy? You want me to land with my gear up? Computer? Get out of here. You AI? You old trash ChatGPT flying assistant? Get out of here. I know how to fly. Watch this. I'm an expert pilot. Check this out. Check this out. Check this out. Raise gear my ass. Tell me how to fly. Look at that. I'm missing half my plane, too. I don't need your help, ChatGPT. I can fly just fine. Skirt! Drift this plane. Drift the plane. Oh, like a glove. Yeah, because unless I'm mistaken, data center stuff would absolutely be sold to consumers. Make no mistake. Most of the hardware that's running these data centers is not. I mean, the 1U and 2U racks that they run are blades that themselves are comprised of essentially standard PCIe interconnect stuff. There's, I mean, aside from like purpose-built solid racks like NVIDIA Blackwell and Grace Hopper type stuff, most of the GPUs like Quadros, RTXs, MI Instinct by AMD, those are absolutely consumer desktop compatible. And even if they're not, you can buy server blades very cheaply. You can buy them now. Go on eBay and you can find all kind of surplus data center hardware. And fundamentally, the interconnect technology is no different now than it was 10 or 20 years ago. And for 10 or 20 years, you've been able to buy surplus data center Xeons and Quadros all day long. They're still available. In fact, I was going to buy a dual-core Xenon CPU blade and set it up in my house. And the only reason I didn't was just because the power requirements are so onerous. The performance was good, but you damn near, at least in my case, have to set it up in an attic and run it full blast all the time because they're so loud and they're so hot. And then I've got to run cabling for it and all this stuff. And then ultimately, if I'm just trying to run like a NAS or a Pi-hole, like a DNS intercept and just some other stuff, you can basically do that from a Raspberry Pi and forego the server blade entirely. But yeah, if you've never looked into a surplus data center hardware, look into it. There's a lot of cool stuff you can buy. Used to. Given the current component crunch, I don't know if it's as easy as it used to be. But it was for quite a while. But you know, there very well may come a time where you choose between very power-hungry, power-thirsty Xeons or nothing. And right now, all we have is nothing. So if Xeons and obsolete Quadros and Instincts come on. I mean, even some of the AI cards I was looking at were AMD Radeon Pro V620s, old Tesla P40s, M40s. These are old data center cards. 8 gig, 16 gig cards. Their memory bandwidth is pretty thin. Well, the memory bandwidth, I guess, is okay, but the speed at which it operates is a little lackluster. So you're not going to get modern inference speeds from them, but for 150 to 400 bucks a card, depending, it's really competitive, so long as you're not trying to do GPU out for graphics rendering. And even then, you could probably find a way to run it through a VM and copy the frame buffer over and get it onto another GPU and get it out at near full performance if you wanted to go that route. So there's options. People got to get creative. People are already getting creative. You can look now and see where people are buying old BC250 mining cards and making their own custom Steam machines out of them. It's really cool. If nothing else, I love how creative it's forcing people to be. Necessity is the mother of invention, as they say. Yeah, I would too, Barry. I'm right there with you. My kilowatt hour price is pretty low, and I'd be happy to take a hit there just to detach from cloud providers if I could run my own local servers for AI and media storage and data backup and all that stuff. You're the big boy. You go first. Don't take up the whole runway. Thank you. Man, huh? Some air cover. God, the idea of subscribing to GPU compute over the internet profoundly disgusts me. And I worry that that's the way things are going in the future. And there might not be anything we can do about it unless you're willing to run old chips. To a lesser extent, I think discrete GPUs are probably going the way of the dinosaur too. And the future is mostly going to be completely integrated packages, kind of like the Steam machine, where you've got shared VRAM, RAM on board next to the die, and then a combined CPU, GPU, all in a single chiplet. Maybe not the RAM and the compute silicon, but those on the same motherboard, non-swappable. A lot of performance to be gained by doing that, but sucks for consumer friendliness and repairability. Nobody in the air. You guys too scared? Or you AI enemies? You spooked? You spooked at the humans? Better be. We have command of our surroundings. We have situational awareness. We have critical thinking. We have reflexivity. We can never compete. This guy's some cover. Oh my god, that's a lot of missiles. Okay, I may have goofed up. Yep.
Stall.
Well. Let's shoot off a bunch of them. Let's add to the confusion. Wow. 0.2 euros per kilowatt hour. That's expensive. Around here it's $0.15 US per kilowatt hour. And I think our US dollar is worth less than your euro as well, so that's even more affordable. Whoops. It's real. Get a jackknife, repair some of these places. Oh, I don't have the money. Damn. Yeah, I'm extremely disappointed in my country for not deploying more solar and wind. I think we're going to try to cover the ground with nuclear, which is probably not the worst idea in the world, but it would have been nice to have some more wind and solar in that mix than we do. Germany seems to be willing to bring nuclear back online after slowing down the development of it for a number of years, if I'm not mistaken. Seems like the war with Russia and Ukraine kind of shook Germany out of their willingness to maintain energy dependence on Russia. Better late than never. It's another one of those examples of short-term, profit-oriented thinking selling out national security, much like the U.S. with our chip development and heavy industries. There's some things you just can't sell out. Energy independence is one of them. Assuming I'm correct about Germany moving away from Russian gas and towards nuclear, solar, and wind to make up the deficit. I think I'm correct about it. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I think that's where a lot of the U.S. tech industry's biggest concerns come with respect to any kind of AI race with China, to the extent that such a thing exists, is that once you get enough compute online, your bottlenecking factor really becomes how much electricity you have. I mean, you might generate slop code, but if you can generate enough of it fast enough, then you just keep running that engine until you get what you need. And countries like China that have a ton of photovoltaics online will be able to turn over that engine and run iterations way more frequently than a country like mine, where we're burning oil and nuclear materials to generate it. They've got the right idea. mighty low LOD over there. Looks mighty Unity asset pack over there. Yes, there we go. There it is. Let's drop one off over here. Whoop. That silly banana. It's been really interesting watching all of the, I hesitate to say novel results, but here so far undiscovered results in mathematics that a lot of these frontier language models seem to be unearthing. I think there's a good case to be made that some of these results are not really practically useful. They're not going to lead to any profound new technological developments, but they are questions, mathematical questions that have been posed by humans that were solved by iterating over a prompt in a language model, which is really interesting. Maybe short of profound, a little profound, but interesting. And I'm curious if that pace is going to keep up. I understand enough mathematics and Gödel's incompleteness theorems to know that mathematics isn't something that you're going to be able to solve necessarily, but it does have no shortage of interesting questions that might be able to be answered. We'll still need humans in the loop to pose most of these interesting questions, of course, but with the right assistance from machines, we can get a lot of work done. I haven't thought about the Will Smith spaghetti benchmark in quite a while. I bet they're really good nowadays. I know ByteDance released Seed Dance, which is probably trained on every fucking TikTok video that's ever been made. And some of the videos I saw coming out from Seed Dance are effectively indistinguishable from actual recorded footage. I don't trust any audio, video, or images I see on the internet anymore by default. Not without very close attribution and a chain of custody. And even then it's, you know, an implicit chain of custody being tied to like a news site or something, not a programmatic one, which we're going to have to devise systems for, undoubtedly. If you're talking about a U.S. House Resolution 9777, yeah, they can pass all the bills they want, but unless those bills pass from the House into the Senate, the chamber above it, to become law, they won't become workable. And the way that our Congress is set up right now, they've effectively gridlocked themselves in half for the past 20 years, which is precisely why Trump was able to do what he did. He's kind of a symptom of Congress being able to pass a lot of bills and get very few of them passed. There's no way that data center bill will take effect. You seem to think that our Congress works for the people. Barry, you're sorely mistaken. It's made up of the people, ostensibly, but does it serve our interests? Absolutely not. And it hasn't for quite a long time. We are subject to it. What's that note over there? Well, that thing is gonna fuck me up, isn't it? He's shooting. He's shooting. Yep. Yep. Yep, I made a mistake.
Left fan failure.
Oh, God.
Right engine failure.
Let's get low. Get low. Okay. Just land it.
VRS.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Could have been worse. We're alive. That's all that matters. Let's get a drink. Yeah, it would require the French form of yelling. I actually do email and place calls to my representative's office pretty frequently compared to the average citizen, I would say at least every couple months, just to make sure there's a line from the ground level to the legislative body to make sure there's some information moving up in that direction. It's really quite sad the way the American system has developed, because 50 plus years ago, the aggregate of those kinds of calls and attempts at communicating with legislative bodies actually impacted policy decisions. But the way that U.S. legislative districts have been carved up lately means that a lot of these representatives that we have don't actually run the risk of losing their seat if they don't listen to their electorate. So they can just choose to ignore me in place of whatever policy decisions they've decided to do for the betterment of their district, usually through lobbying and money and kickbacks, which is in a lot of ways where these data centers are getting built. It's from representatives like mine who are deciding they know better than we do. But because they're not at risk of losing their seat, they have no incentive to listen to us, and so they don't. A lot of people, both Americans and overseas, are not aware that the reason that my president, Trump, has been able to do what he does, which is to say, act unilaterally, not give a shit about anything, and just break all the norms and laws within the country and behave how he wants, is precisely because the legislative portion of the federal government, the federal representatives, the Senate, the House of Representatives, of which they're comprised, have effectively abdicated their responsibility to listen to their electorate. And so, since we, people like me, can't make our district representatives do anything, we leverage power as voters the only other way we can, which is by electing a lunatic who says, he's not going to listen to anything anyone says. And that's precisely what we did twice. Was it necessarily a good decision? I wouldn't go that far, but if anyone looks at Trump and wonders why that can happen again, that's why. It's because our legislative body has failed. And so we're exercising power the only other way we can. It was elect him or die a slow death. And it seems like America would rather go out thrashing violently. Can't say I blame him. Us. God, that guy sucks, man. Fucking sucks. Oh God! Take some big boy bombs. I'm not fully convinced the French way of doing things is the best either. They have a pretty good track record, but a lot of my fellow Americans like to point towards the French Revolution as like the way to enact forcible change when your government won't listen to you. But the same Americans that invoke that often conveniently forget the reign of terror that happened for like 20 years afterwards and how much more French blood was shed as they struggled to develop a working government. And then the monarchy, unless I'm mistaken, on my history, ended up getting restored within 50 years anyway, didn't it? It's like a lot of good that did. No easy solutions, unfortunately.
Raise gear.
Shit. I said it was it. Oh, look at this. Oh, beautiful. Oh, beautiful! Beautiful! Did I get nothing? I got nothing. What garbage. Yep, no easy answers. I'm almost okay with the amount of American domestic chaos we've had. Like that, you know, it's our country, it's our business. If we elect somebody that wants to kick up a bunch of dirt within the United States, we can do that, even if it causes a lot of heartbreak. But the way we've been treating our allies is just unconscionable. And I worry that we've essentially set ourselves on a path of never being able to ever be as powerful as we were again, precisely because of how we treated our allies. You can't fix treatment like that. Countries don't forget that kind of shit. Canada's never going to look at us the same way again. The European Union isn't. Certainly not Denmark. Is it Denmark that controls Greenland? Shit. Yeah, it is. Okay. Woo! Almost out of myself as a stupid American there. Yeah, control is a pretty broad term given that relationship, isn't it? I don't actually know. I have to presume that Greenland is like an overseas protectorate, and they allow Greenland basically all of their own autonomy, but maybe pay taxes to Denmark, and Denmark would agree to intervene militarily if something happened. And it also forces them to be a part of like NATO infrastructure, maybe. I don't know. You Europeans have really weird agreements when it comes to autonomy that I don't understand. But yeah, I presume for the most part, they let Greenland set their own laws and collect their own taxes and things like that. These aren't going to do anything. Here's what we do. We're going to crash into it full speed. Damn it! Texas is definitely not its own thing. It likes to tell people that it is, but it's no more its own thing than any other U.S. state. Although having said that, if ever it wanted to become, if ever a U.S. state wanted to become its own thing away from the United States, Texas would be one of the first. Close one. I like Texas quite a lot. I've got family that lives there. I'm very sympathetic to the idea that individual states within the United States should have more power away from our federal government to behave how they want. But, you know, we fought a war about that, and the federal government won that war. So states don't have as much power as they otherwise would. Well, we fought a war for many, many other reasons too, but that was a foundational pillar of it. States' rights to enslave people. There's been discussion about it, not like on any official level between people that actually hold power, but at the civilian level, there's been discussion of what I would consider a conscientious divorce, where without bloodshed, states would try to break away and form their own regional powers. There would be a lot of unanswered questions like taxation, currency printing, military, land divestment that belongs to the federal government. But these are solvable problems, right? You could devise solutions for these things. But I think, unfortunately, like as we've been talking about, and Trump is a great example, the way that the federal government in the United States wields power, the federal government is not interested in letting go of that power. If ever a state tried to get away from the federal government, it would declare them traitors, it would wage war on them and force them back into the Union, because every additional state that the federal government has power over increases the federal government's power. And I suspect this is the same way in Europe as it is in the United States and probably all over the world. But the thing about power is that when you give it to somebody or an organism or a group, they don't give it up. Not unless you force them to. And so the federal government is under no circumstances going to let a state just walk away. It'll never happen. We've been through this once, and they went to war because places wanted to walk away to do slavery. And that was a very easy war to justify for a lot of people. But if you read U.S. Civil War history, we didn't go to war to stop slavery. Slavery wasn't banned until halfway through the U.S. Civil War. We only went to war because the federal government wanted to preserve the Union. In other words, maintain the power of the federal government as a composition of multiple states. So, you know, if ever a state like Texas or California or Florida tried to break away in modern times, the same thing would happen. I think you could probably have a plurality, maybe even a majority of U.S. states in good faith come to the federal government with a request to break away and try to make it workable, and our Fed wouldn't let it happen. I wish I was wrong about that, but I don't think they would. The U.S. likes to believe in the people's right of self-determination, but only up until the point where it makes our government less powerful. And then suddenly they're traitors. We can't let them self-determine. Oh God! Oh God! What's happening? I can't believe I survived. Okay, we're good. this was a terrible decision to get in this helicopter. Yeah, the United States had a lot of soft power internationally. We threw it all away. It's fucking stupid, man. Stupid for us, stupid for NATO. I mean, the only positive benefit I see from Trump behaving the way that he did is that the European Union and its NATO comprising member states very quickly started hitting that 2% defense spending target for NATO coverage, which they were really not doing before my president started acting like a lunatic. And was that a worthwhile trade-off? Probably not. But it did at least make countries like Poland, although Poland they understand the Russian bear, and they were far more willing to spend money on defense compared to like Spain and Germany. Germany's getting with the program too, but it took them a little while. But I imagine that's not for any failing on Germany's part in so much as that like Germany probably has the same difficulties we do in the US, where to do that kind of stuff, to make those defense spending targets, to pull the populace into this new regime and a new way of doing things, you need a lot of popular support. And if you don't have it, then it's hard to make it happen. And it took like an ally like us threatening people to make it happen. It's sad. If it protects people from Russia, I'm okay with it. There's not many things I'd blindly agree on from a geopolicy perspective, but I am not a fan of the Kremlin. I'm not a fan of the way they do geopolicy. I'm not a fan of the way they frame conflicts. I don't think they're good faith actors. Neither are we, but their level of bad faith acting is a cut above. For now, our country's headed in the same direction, unfortunately. I see you out there. What? Building and maintaining infrastructure as a defense spending target? That's awful convenient. I mean, I don't necessarily disagree, but that's certainly a much easier way to make those targets while benefiting your populace, huh? Needs to be done, though. Just better hope that shit's bomb resistant. Why did I get a helicopter? This was dumb. Yeah, a googly-eyed Kremlin bitch. I mean, it's clear to me that, to the extent that it can be clear to me as a civilian with no inside information, right? It's clear to me that Russia did not collude with Donald Trump to get him elected any more than any nation would have colluded with any other party to get elected in ways that benefit them. But the Kremlin is very, very good at leveraging their resources to make certain outcomes happen while maintaining very strong plausible deniability. Like the way that the Kremlin does business, they never need to sit in a room with Trump and his cronies and agree to like subvert US elections, because that's just not the way they run intelligence operations. And you saw that in the United States, maybe you saw, but in the United States, the people that were running against Trump just immediately declared him having dinner with Putin and them like working hand in hand to subvert US power. And it's like, you guys, you're overextending your hand. That's not the way that they do that kind of thing. And it undermines the credibility of the people resisting Trump when they take that kind of position. And they did. And they beat that horse for years and wasted time. And it was just... hell yeah. A lot of Americans are really fucking stupid. I don't know if you know this. You probably do know this. But in case you don't, take it from me. A lot of us are really goddamn dumb and short-sighted. We like to believe things if it fits our narratives, and we refuse to entertain the uncomfortable possibility that the world is actually really complicated. and filled with actors who layer in plausible deniability to make it look like they're not doing things they are. Some of us are figuring it out slowly but surely. We're wising up a little bit. There's a lot of collateral damage in the process. This looks like chaos. Yeah, I don't know a lot about the German military system, but yeah, that's exactly right. I 100% agree with that from my understanding of things. Is yeah, we do play poker, trying to win short-term big pots on the table, and Russia is setting up pieces for decades or even centuries forwards. I don't know a lot about Germany's military infrastructure to speak on it, but it does seem like the UK and Germany specifically have let their... Oh, that was a mistake! Fuck! They've let their military complex wither a little bit. And their ability to maintain an active response fighting force kind of decayed away. And even after Russia invaded Ukraine proper in 2022, Europe and the UK were still just dragging their feet, you know, to get... I mean, it's not... I know that the people that ran these countries know that if the Kremlin gets their way, Europe is going to be next. If Ukraine rolls over without a fight, Poland's next, Lithuania's next, Latvia, Estonia. But, you know, if the money's not there, it's not like you can raise a military overnight, right? It's a rock and a hard place. It's difficult no matter what you do. Kremlin's good at chess. I'll give him that. There we go. Oh. Holy shit! All of us scrambling trying to take off this fucking thing. Okay, go, 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 go. What are y'all's guesses on how this Ukrainian-Russian conflict is going to end? Presuming that it does end within the next 10 years or so, which I readily admit is not necessarily a guarantee. I could easily see this dragging out for decades. But what's your hypothesis? I think Ukraine is increasingly doing very impressive work behind the front lines, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to get the Kremlin to capitulate. I worry that there's like tactical nukes on the table on the front lines after a while. Oh god! I hope not. Oh god! Oh! Got me. That's what we need. Mm-hmm. Give me my baby. I don't need to be out there. Oh, I don't have... What? Damn it. Yeah, Ukraine has basically redefined the face of modern warfare in the course of 4 years, which is absolutely incredible. They've expanded the thickness of the front line from what used to be a few miles to 15, 20, 50 kilometers, it seems. The use of unmanned disposable aerial munition systems, FPV drones, to increase the amount of area denial. I'm also surprised that cyber war hasn't been a bigger component. Although you could argue that it has been with respect to actually interfering individual drone operations, which is why they've had to go to fiber optics in a lot of places. But I wouldn't necessarily agree like you that that's cyber war. Or excuse me, I would, like you, not necessarily consider that to be cyber war in the traditional sense. I am surprised that there's not more attacks on computational infrastructure. And it's so hard for the Russians to pull off a coup. I mean, Prigozhin tried that, what, 2 or 3 years ago? When he marched on Moscow? And I don't know what Putin said to him, but he got past Rostov-on-Don, got within like 100 kilometers of Moscow, and then said he struck some kind of deal with Putin, and then he was dead within 6 months. Like, if he can't do it, and if Russians aren't allowed to own firearms, I don't know how they're gonna pull a coup off. Maybe Putin dies of old age, and his generals start breaking away from a wartime footing, but I don't know. Come on, come on. Oh, he's coming right after me. Oh, he's pissed. He's pissed, dude. Yep. Everyone's on my ass! Oh, they got him. Oh, yep. Come on. Without any cover, there's not much I can do out there. Get it. Oh. Where is he? How about it, Tui? Yeah, we can use all the help we can get if you want to jump in. Tomo's PvE, PvP, ANZ vanilla voting ranking catch up. This feels just like a ruthless PvP setup, and it's... Yeah, apparently you can launch these things off a carrier. I didn't know that either. I guess it is a VTOL aircraft. I didn't even line it up with the runway. I just dumped it straight off the side. Guys, what are you doing out there? Turns out it's hard to coordinate with teammates you can't speak with. Who would have guessed? The moment I let off of it. These frigates won't get off my nuts. Whoop, whoop. Made a mistake. Made a mistake. Oh, God. Oh, I can jam the missiles with the pods? I did not know that. That's good to know. Yeah, I couldn't get a lock on the ships themselves for quite a while. Nope.
Engine fire.
Damn. We're good. Let me just eject straight into the ocean. Oh. Okay. These guys are brutal. Son of a bitch. What? What? Why are my shit blowing up? See if I can't sneak up on him. There's no way. Oh! I see you down there. I see you. I don't think I can catch you, but I'm gonna make you work for it. Oh, you got him. Nice shot. Quest item. That's pretty cool. Nothing? Nothing?
Engine fire.
Nope. Oh, quest item got me. You're lucky your fleet was there.
Stall.
Hell yeah. I'm just gonna go in with a gunship, who cares? Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. Special delivery. How about it, Tui? Good to see you. I don't know how I got a kill there, but I'll take it. These Tarantula gunships are way more capable on normal engagements than I ever would have guessed. I have a feeling they're not going to do great for me now, but it'll be fun to try. You son of a bitch quest item. I remember you. Oh, I don't have any ECM pods? That's bad. That was a mistake. That was a mistake. Don't tell the enemy. Maybe they'll just shoot heat seekers and I'll be okay. Got a big boy coming for you. Ooh! Immediately. Nope. Oh my god, look at the slickness! Look at the slickness! God, dude, I'm not gonna be able to dodge it.
Rear right
Where is he? I'm still in it. I'm still in it. I'm still in it. Better not get anywhere near me.
Stall.
Ah! I'm still here. Oh! That's right, you better fly away.
Stall.
I'm still dangerous. I'm like a wounded animal. Well, I dodged a radar homing missile with no countermeasures. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not every day you pull that off in a tarantula. Just give me a bunch of long-range missiles. It's a whole ton of them. Yeah. That's not good. You son of a bitch. Got him. About time. That guy's a really good flyer. Nice shot, Tui. There is a dearth of jets. Seems we've scared them off. Damn. Where are you? I think I have a 10-kilometer range on these. Damn. Up! Oh! Too fast for me. Nice dodge. Can I fly anything else, please? No? So poor. 2 missiles.
Stall.
Oop. Yeah, he's a really good pilot. Ooh. I don't think this is gonna do anything, but I'm gonna try anyway.
Stall.
That was good help, Tui. Turn the tide of battle. I think I got officially 0 points, 13.5. Could have been worse. Hey, look at that. Look at that monster. Came in out of nowhere, got second. Bombs. That's a good idea. Oh. Poor quest item. Nobody wants to do escalation PvE, only escalation PvP. Oh, my airplane flipped over. Okay, I don't know which side I'm gonna be on. I guess. Let's see where everybody goes. join the Pala. Screw it. This is such a good skirmish game. Being able to jump in and out of different engagements easily. It's really nice. Some guy's coming right after me. I'm gonna fake him out.
Stall.
She's heavy. She's heavy. This would be a great game to sort out arguments with a significant other. We'll settle this one-on-one, baby girl. Someone got him. Oh. Oh. There we go. Uh-oh. Looks like I'm dropping frames. Fuck me! Oh, he's pissed. That's an angry missile. Oh. Someone got him. He's still going. Oh my god! Get him! Get him! Don't let him survive! Ugh. Oh, I nailed him. Oh, beautiful. Long time coming quest item. Okay, looks like we got the air clear. Need some ground units in there. Damn. Did pretty good. Tui. Number 1. Tied for first place. You said you were rusty. I don't think so. I think you're a pro and you're sandbagging. That's what I think.
Raise gear.
Oops. I misread that.
Raise gear.
Oh god, oh god, oh god, that's way too fast. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. Jesus! Well, so much for a successful sortie, huh? Do what I do best. The missile knows where it is. That's such a great video. Classic. And if I'm not mistaken, despite being a fantastic shitpost, most of what it's saying is pretty accurate. In a very colloquial sense. I don't know anything about missile or flight dynamics. Oh shit, we've got 2 aircraft coming in. They're gonna blow me out of the sky. Yep, that's not good. Oh. Logic got our boy Tui. Alright, if someone can give me some cover, I'm gonna try to go after some of these ground units. Not that anyone can hear me. Hopefully they see me. Stay low. Almost there. Oh yeah, my boys are coming. We're good. Nice shot. we're doing okay. All things considered. I feel like I'm actually being a competitive team player. Where the fuck is this thing? Oh my god, he's on the other side of the... Come on. Oh. Dipped out. Nice. Well, I'm still in it, baby. You think you slick? Where are you?
Right engine failure.
Fuck!
Tail rotor.
Fuck, he's shooting me! He's shooting me!
Main rotor damage.
It's a good run. Looks like you're flying upside down. Who's that? Server status AI plus. Okay. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's probably good. Wait. You. I'm getting pinged real bad. slick.
Left engine failure.
Shit.
Right engine failure.
Bitch! Oh, nailed him!
Main rotor damage.
Took you with me. Oh! This way. How about a game speak? Yeah, no worries. Enjoy it. If you want to hop in later, you're more than welcome to. We're in Tomo's PvE PvP. Oh, somebody nailed him. Should have gotten some ground weapons. Oh. Hello? Don't let him see you. Don't let him see you. Oh, so you pop out of the corner. Got him. That was a nice move right there. Spooderman. I see you, Spooderman. I'm coming. Best watch out. Wait, actually, I'm looking for this guy. Oh. Oh! Got me. Got me. I got him too. Nice. Tui with the score 115. What an animal. Here's what we're doing. We're taking a gunship. Fuck yeah. Whatever. Just run it. so heavy. Oh, not the landing. No, not the landing gear. I'm way too high up for this.
Stall.
Get off my boy. Just chasing him. If you can get over here, I'll give you some backup. Chasing you for no good reason, I'll never catch you.
Rear left engine failure. Rear right engine failure. Front
Oh, they're
right
mad.
engine failure.
Stall.
Oh! Damn. Spooderman. Oh my god, that was close. Oh. I don't know what happened. We're good. We're good. Spooderman?
Stall. engine fire.
I got him too. Dewey's out there doing work. Let's try one of these more agile fighters. It's him again. Sneak up real low. I don't think this is gonna work, but I'm gonna try. Oh, they're pissed!
Engine fire. Stall.
Oh! No go. Alright, I think that does it for me. Good stream. I appreciate y'all watching. What I land on with a score? 50? Could be worse. Steady improvement. Alright. Y'all take care. Thanks for hanging out.